Have you ever felt stuck, like no matter what you do, you just can't get ahead financially? I've been there too. But then I discovered something that changed everything. It's called the mirror principle, and it's not about fancy tricks or get-rich-quick schemes. It's about changing who you are on the inside. This simple idea took me from being broke and hopeless to living a life of wealth and freedom. And the best part? Anyone can do it. Imagine waking up every day feeling rich, even before you check your bank account. Picture yourself making smart money moves without stress or fear. That's what the mirror principle did for me, and it can do the same for you. It's not magic, but sometimes it feels like it. Think about it. What if the reason you're not rich yet is just because of how you see yourself? What if you could change that view and watch your whole financial world transform? That's the power of the mirror principle. It's like having a secret key to unlock wealth, and I'm going to show you how to use it. Let me take you back to where my journey began. Not too long ago, I was in a pretty tough spot. Bills were piling up, my job barely paid the rent, and my bank account was always hovering near zero. I felt trapped in a cycle of poverty that seemed impossible to break. I tried everything I could think of to make more money. I worked overtime, started side hustles, even tried my luck with some risky investments. But no matter what I did, I always ended up back where I started, broke and frustrated. It felt like the world was against me. I'd watch others succeed and wonder, why not me? What am I doing wrong? I was working harder than ever, but getting nowhere. The stress was overwhelming, and I started to believe that maybe I just wasn't meant to be wealthy. But then something happened that changed everything. I stumbled upon the idea of the mirror principle. At first, I was skeptical. It sounded too simple, too good to be true, but I was desperate enough to try anything. So what exactly is the mirror principle? It's the idea that the world around us is like a giant mirror, reflecting back what's inside us. In other words, if you feel poor and unworthy on the inside, that's what the world will show you. But if you feel rich and deserving, the world will reflect that back to you too. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds nice, but how does feeling rich make you actually rich? That's exactly what I wondered at first. But as I dug deeper, I realized it's not just about feelings. It's about changing your entire mindset. When you truly believe you're wealthy on the inside, you start to think differently. You make different choices. You see opportunities where before you only saw obstacles. It's like putting on a new pair of glasses and suddenly seeing the world in a whole new way. But here's the really important part. The mirror principle isn't about pretending or lying to yourself. It's about uncovering the wealth that's already inside you. It's about recognizing your true value and potential. Think about it this way. Have you ever known someone who seemed to have everything going for them, but they were always broke? Or someone who didn't seem to have any special talents, but somehow always had money? That's the mirror principle in action. The first person might have skills and opportunities, but if they see themselves as poor, that's what they'll create. The second person might not have obvious advantages, but their inner belief in their wealth shapes their reality. So how did I start applying this principle in my own life? It began with small changes in how I talk to myself. Instead of waking up and thinking, I'm so broke, I started my day with, I'm grateful for the wealth coming into my life. Even when my bank account didn't match these words, I kept at it. I also started to pay attention to how I thought about money. I realized I had a lot of negative beliefs, that money was hard to come by, that rich people were somehow bad, that I didn't deserve wealth. Recognizing these thoughts was the first step in changing them. Next, I began to act as if I was already wealthy. This didn't mean spending money I didn't have. Instead, it meant making decisions from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. When opportunities came up, instead of immediately thinking, I can't afford that, I asked myself, How can I make this happen? One of the biggest changes was in how I treated myself. I realized that wealthy people invest in themselves, in their health, their knowledge, their personal growth. So I started doing the same, even in small ways. I'd take time to read books on finance and personal development. I started eating healthier and exercising, treating my body like it was valuable. Now, I won't lie to you. This wasn't an easy process. There were many times when I wanted to give up and go back to my old way of thinking. When bills came in or unexpected expenses popped up, it was tempting to fall back into feeling poor and hopeless. One of the biggest challenges was dealing with the people around me. Not everyone understood what I was trying to do. Some friends and family members thought I was being unrealistic or even arrogant. "Who do you think you are?" they'd say when I talked about my goals for wealth. There were days when nothing seemed to be changing. I'd look at my bank account or my job situation and think, this isn't working. The old doubts would creep back in, telling me I was fooling myself. But here's what I learned. Change takes time. Just like you can't go from being out of shape to running a marathon overnight, you can't change your financial reality instantly. The key is to keep going, even when it feels like nothing is happening. I also realized that setbacks didn't mean failure. Every time I slipped back into old thinking patterns, I used it as a chance to practice the mirror principle again. Each challenge became an opportunity to strengthen my new mindset. After a while of consistently applying the mirror principle, I started to notice small changes. At first, they were so subtle, I almost missed them. But as I paid attention, I realized something was definitely shifting. One of the first things I noticed was that I felt different. Even though my external circumstances hadn't changed much yet, I felt more confident and positive. I wasn't as stressed about money, which made me more pleasant to be around. This led to better relationships at work and in my personal life. Then, opportunities started to appear. A colleague mentioned a side project that needed help, and for once, instead of thinking I'm not qualified, I thought, I can learn this. That project gave me extra income and new skills. I also started making better financial decisions. Instead of impulsively buying things to make myself feel better, I began to think long-term. I started a small savings account, even though I could only put away a few dollars at first. Seeing that account grow, even slowly, was incredibly motivating. Another interesting change was in how I viewed wealthy people. Instead of feeling jealous or resentful, I began to see them as examples of what was possible. I started to notice what successful people did differently and tried to learn from them. As these small changes accumulated, they started to create a snowball effect. The more positive results I saw, the more I believed in the mirror principle, which in turn created more positive changes. For example, my new attitude at work didn't go unnoticed. My boss started giving me more responsibilities, which eventually led to a promotion and a raise. This extra money allowed me to invest more in myself and my future. I also found that as I felt more abundant, I became more generous. I started helping friends and family more, not just with money, but with my time and skills. Surprisingly, this generosity often came back to me in unexpected ways, bringing new opportunities and connections. My newfound confidence led me to take calculated risks I would have avoided before. I started a small side business based on a hobby of mine. While it didn't make me rich overnight, it provided extra income and taught me valuable lessons about entrepreneurship. One of the most significant changes was in how I handled setbacks. When financial challenges came up, and they still did, I no longer saw them as proof that I was destined to be poor. Instead, I viewed them as temporary obstacles that I had the power to overcome. While the small changes were encouraging, I was still waiting for that big breakthrough. And then, almost when I least expected it, it happened. Through a series of events that seemed almost too perfect to be coincidence, I met someone who became a mentor to me. This person saw potential in me that I was only beginning to see in myself. They offered me a chance to join a business venture that aligned perfectly with my skills and passions. Now, in the past, I might have doubted myself and turned down such an opportunity. But my work with the mirror principle had prepared me for this moment. Instead of fear, I felt ready and excited. This venture was challenging and required me to grow in ways I never had before. There were long hours, steep learning curves, and moments of doubt. But unlike in the past, I didn't let these challenges defeat me. I saw them as part of my journey to wealth. As the business grew, so did my income. For the first time in my life, I wasn't just getting by, I was thriving financially. I was able to pay off old debts, build substantial savings, and even start investing for the future. But here's what really amazed me. The money, while wonderful, wasn't the most important change. The real transformation was in how I saw myself and my place in the world. I no longer felt like a victim of circumstances. I felt empowered, capable, and worthy of success. Looking back on my journey, I'm amazed at how far I've come. From struggling to pay bills to achieving financial freedom, it sometimes feels like a dream. But it's very real, and it all started with the mirror principle. What I've learned is that wealth isn't just about the numbers in your bank account. True wealth starts in your mind and your heart. It's about believing in your own value and potential. It's about seeing the world as full of opportunities rather than obstacles. The mirror principle taught me that I have the power to shape my financial reality. It's not about waiting for luck or for someone else to save you. It's about taking control of your inner world so that your outer world can change. One of the most important lessons was that this journey isn't just about making money. It's about becoming the kind of person who can create and maintain wealth. It's about growing, learning, and constantly expanding your vision of what's possible. I also realized that wealth brings responsibility. As my financial situation improved, I found myself wanting to help others, to share what I'd learned. I started mentoring others, donating to causes I cared about, and looking for ways to make a positive impact with my newfound resources. Now you might be wondering, can this really work for me? And my answer is a resounding yes. The mirror principle isn't some secret reserved for a lucky few. It's a tool that anyone can use, regardless of where you're starting from. Here's how you can begin. Start with your self-talk. Pay attention to how you think and speak about money and wealth. Are you constantly focusing on lack and limitation? Start shifting those thoughts to ones of abundance and possibility. Create a clear vision of your wealthy self. What does your life look like when you're financially free? How do you act? How do you feel? Spend time each day visualizing this version of yourself. Act as if you're already wealthy. This doesn't mean spending money you don't have. It means making decisions from a place of abundance. Take care of yourself, invest in your growth, and treat your resources with respect. Look for evidence of wealth in your life. Even if you're struggling financially, there are probably areas where you're rich, in relationships, in skills, in opportunities. Focusing on these can help shift your overall mindset. Be patient and persistent. Remember, you're not just trying to make money, you're transforming your entire relationship with wealth. This takes time, so don't get discouraged if you don't see immediate results. Learn from setbacks. When you face financial challenges, and you will see them as opportunities to practice your new mindset. Ask yourself, how would my wealthy self handle this? Surround yourself with positive influences. Seek out people, books, and resources that support your journey to wealth. The more you immerse yourself in abundance thinking, the more natural it will become. Give back. As you start to experience more abundance, look for ways to help others. This reinforces your wealthy mindset and creates positive cycles in your life. Keep growing. Wealth isn't a destination, it's a journey. Always be learning, expanding your skills, and looking for new opportunities. Trust the process. There will be times when it feels like nothing is changing. Keep going. The mirror principle works, but it requires your consistent effort and belief. As you apply these steps, you'll likely start to notice changes just like I did. At first, they might be small, a new opportunity here, a smart financial decision there. But over time, these can snowball into significant transformations. Remember, the mirror principle isn't about overnight success. It's about gradually aligning your inner world with the wealthy life you desire. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts and creates wealth. Your journey might look different from mine, and that's okay. We all have our own paths to walk. The important thing is to start, to commit to this new way of thinking and being. Imagine where you could be a year from now if you start applying the mirror principle today. Picture the changes you could see in your bank account, in your career, and most importantly, in how you feel about yourself and your future. You have the power to change your financial reality. The mirror principle is the tool, but you are the one who must use it. Are you ready to see yourself as truly wealthy? Are you ready to let the world reflect that wealth back to you? Your journey to financial freedom starts now, with a simple change in how you see yourself. The mirror principle worked for me, transforming my life from one of lack to one of abundance. And I believe with all my heart that it can do the same for you. So take that first step. Look in the mirror and see the wealthy, successful person you truly are. Then watch as the world begins to reflect that image back to you. Your journey to unlocking wealth with the mirror principle starts now. Embrace it, believe in it, and let it guide you to the financial freedom you deserve. After consistently applying the mirror principle for a while, I began to notice subtle shifts in my life. At first, these changes were so small I almost missed them. But as I paid more attention, I realized something was definitely different. The most noticeable change was in how I felt. Even though my bank account hadn't grown much yet, I felt more confident and positive about money. I wasn't as stressed when bills came in, and I started to see challenges as opportunities instead of problems. This new attitude affected my work life too. I began to speak up more in meetings and volunteer for new projects. My boss noticed this change and started giving me more responsibilities. It wasn't a huge promotion right away, but it was a step in the right direction. I also noticed changes in how I handled money. Instead of spending impulsively to make myself feel better, I started thinking more long-term. I opened a savings account and began putting away a little bit each week, even if it was just a few dollars. Watching that account grow, no matter how slowly, gave me a sense of progress and hope. Another interesting change was in the opportunities that seemed to appear. A friend mentioned a part-time gig that could earn me extra cash. In the past, I might have dismissed it, thinking I wasn't qualified. But with my new mindset, I decided to give it a try. This small opportunity not only brought in some extra money, but also taught me new skills that would prove valuable later. Even my relationships started to improve. As I felt more positive about myself and my future, I became more pleasant to be around. Friends and family noticed the change, and I found myself having more meaningful conversations about goals and aspirations. These small changes might not seem like much, but they were the first signs that the mirror principle was working. They gave me the encouragement I needed to keep going, even when things got tough. As I continued to work with the mirror principle, those small changes started to add up. Before I knew it, I was experiencing bigger breakthroughs that I never thought possible. One of the most significant breakthroughs came in my career. Remember those extra responsibilities I mentioned earlier? Well, they led to a promotion I never expected. My boss called me into his office one day and offered me a leadership position with a substantial pay raise. This wasn't just a little bump in salary, it was a game changer that doubled my income almost overnight. But the real breakthrough wasn't just the money. It was the realization that I was capable of so much more than I had ever believed. This new role challenged me in ways I never imagined, pushing me to grow and learn rapidly. And you know what? I thrived in it. The confidence I had been building through the mirror principle helped me tackle each new challenge with enthusiasm. Another big breakthrough came in the form of a business opportunity. A colleague introduced me to a startup that was looking for investors. In the past, I would have laughed off the idea of being an investor. But with my new mindset, I saw it as a chance to grow my wealth. I took some of the money from my raise and made a careful investment. To my amazement, that investment paid off, providing me with a new stream of income I never thought possible. My personal finances saw a massive shift too. With my increased income and new investment returns, I was able to pay off all my debts in record time. The feeling of being debt-free was indescribable. It was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, allowing me to breathe freely for the first time in years. But perhaps the biggest breakthrough was in how I saw myself. I no longer felt like a victim of circumstance, always one step away from financial disaster. Instead, I saw myself as a creator of wealth, someone who could shape their financial destiny. This shift in self-image was priceless. It gave me the courage to take calculated risks, to think bigger, and to believe in my ability to handle whatever financial challenges came my way. These breakthroughs didn't happen overnight. They were the result of consistently applying the mirror principle day after day, even when it felt like nothing was changing. But when they did happen, they proved to me beyond a doubt that this principle really works. Looking at my life now, it sometimes feels surreal. The transformation has been so profound that it's hard to believe I'm the same person who was once drowning in debt and financial stress. Today, I can proudly say that I'm financially free. What does that mean? It means I have more than enough money to cover my needs and many of my wants. I have a robust savings account, a diversified investment portfolio, and multiple streams of income. The constant worry about money that used to plague me is gone. But being financially free isn't just about having money in the bank. It's about the peace of mind that comes with it. I no longer lose sleep over bills or unexpected expenses. I have the freedom to make choices based on what I want, not just on what I can afford. My career has flourished beyond my wildest dreams. That leadership position I mentioned earlier, it was just the beginning. I've since started my own successful business, something I never would have had the courage to do before. And the best part? I truly love what I do. My work doesn't feel like a job. It feels like a calling. My personal life has improved dramatically too. With financial stress out of the picture, my relationships have deepened. I have more time and energy to invest in the people I care about. I've been able to help family members in need and support causes I'm passionate about. The ability to give back has added a richness to my life that no amount of money could buy. But perhaps the most significant change is in how I feel about myself and my future. I wake up each day with a sense of excitement and possibility. I know that no matter what challenges come my way, I have the resources, both financial and personal, to handle them. I'm not saying my life is perfect or that I never face setbacks. Of course I do. But now, instead of seeing problems as insurmountable obstacles, I see them as opportunities for growth and learning. My relationship with money and success has fundamentally changed, and that has made all the difference. The journey from where I was to where I am now wasn't always easy. There were moments of doubt, setbacks, and challenges. But by consistently applying the mirror principle, by changing how I saw myself and my relationship with wealth, I was able to create a life I once only dreamed of. And here's the thing: I'm not special or uniquely gifted. The transformation I experienced is possible for anyone willing to embrace the mirror principle and do the inner work it requires. My story isn't about luck or overnight success. It's about the power of changing your mindset and aligning your inner world with the reality you want to create. As I look to the future, I'm filled with optimism and excitement. I know that the principles that brought me this far will continue to guide me to even greater heights. And more than anything, I'm eager to share what I've learned with others to help them unlock their own potential for wealth and abundance. Now that you've heard my story, you might be wondering how you can apply the mirror principle to your own life. The good news is, anyone can use this powerful tool to transform their financial reality. Here's how you can get started. First, start by changing how you think about yourself. This is the foundation of the mirror principle. Instead of focusing on what you lack, begin to see yourself as someone who is worthy of wealth and abundance. It might feel strange at first, especially if you're used to thinking of yourself as bad with money or always broke. But stick with it. Every morning, look in the mirror and tell yourself, I am worthy of wealth. I am becoming richer every day. Next, pay attention to your thoughts about money throughout the day. Many of us have negative beliefs about money that we're not even aware of. Maybe you think rich people are greedy, or that making money has to be a struggle. Challenge these thoughts when you notice them. Replace them with positive beliefs like, money flows easily to me, or there are countless opportunities for me to increase my wealth. It's also important to act as if you're already wealthy. This doesn't mean spending money you don't have. Instead, it means making decisions from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. When faced with a financial decision, ask yourself, what would a wealthy person do in this situation? This might lead you to invest in your education, start saving even small amounts, or look for ways to increase your income. Another powerful technique is visualization. Spend a few minutes each day imagining your ideal financial life in vivid detail. What does your day look like when you're financially free? How do you feel? What kind of work do you do? The more real you can make this vision, the more your subconscious mind will work to make it a reality. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight. There will be days when it feels like nothing is working. This is when it's most important to stick with the mirror principle. Keep affirming your worth, keep visualizing your success, keep making decisions as if you're already wealthy. Over time, you'll start to see changes just like I did. It's also crucial to surround yourself with positive influences. Read books about wealth and success. Listen to podcasts featuring successful people. Seek out mentors or join groups of like-minded individuals who are also on a journey to financial freedom. The people and ideas you surround yourself with have a huge impact on your mindset. One of the most powerful things you can do is to start taking action, no matter how small. Maybe it's opening a savings account and depositing $5 a week. Maybe it's starting a side hustle to bring in extra income. Maybe it's learning about investing and making your first small investment. These actions not only improve your financial situation, but also reinforce your new identity as someone who is good with money. As you begin to see positive changes, no matter how small, celebrate them. Did you save $50 this month? Celebrate it. Did you earn an extra $100 from a side gig? Celebrate it. These celebrations reinforce the idea that you are becoming wealthier and more financially savvy. Remember, the mirror principle isn't just about making money, it's about becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts wealth and success. This means developing qualities like discipline, creativity, and perseverance. It means learning to see opportunities where others see obstacles. It means taking responsibility for your financial life rather than blaming circumstances. One of the most important things I learned on my journey is the power of giving. As you start to experience more abundance in your life, look for ways to give back. This doesn't have to mean large donations if you're not there yet. It could be as simple as buying coffee for the person behind you in line or volunteering your time for a cause you care about. Giving reinforces the belief that you have more than enough, which in turn attracts more abundance into your life. Lastly, be patient with yourself. Changing your financial reality is a process, and it takes time. There will be setbacks and challenges along the way. When these happen, don't take them as signs that the mirror principle isn't working. Instead, see them as opportunities to practice your new mindset. Ask yourself, how would my wealthy self handle this situation? Remember, every wealthy person you admire started somewhere. They weren't born successful. They developed a mindset of wealth and abundance, just like you're doing now. With consistent effort and belief in yourself, you can create the financial reality you desire. The journey to financial freedom using the mirror principle is deeply personal. Your path won't look exactly like mine or anyone else's, but the fundamental principles remain the same. Change your inner world, and your outer world will follow. As we come to the end of this journey through the mirror principle, I hope you're feeling inspired and empowered. The path from financial struggle to abundance isn't always easy, but it's infinitely rewarding. Remember, the mirror principle isn't about magical thinking or ignoring reality. It's about fundamentally changing how you see yourself and your relationship with money. It's about recognizing that your inner world shapes your outer reality in powerful ways. My journey from broke to wealthy wasn't just about accumulating money. It was about becoming a different person, someone who believed in their own worth, who saw opportunities instead of obstacles, who was capable of creating and maintaining wealth. And that's the journey I invite you to embark on. As you begin to apply the mirror principle in your own life, be patient with yourself. Change takes time. There will be days when it feels like nothing is working, when old doubts and fears creep back in. On those days, remember my story. Remember that transformation is possible. Keep believing in yourself and in your ability to create the financial reality you desire. The mirror principle has the power to change not just your bank account, but your entire life. As you become more abundant, you'll likely find that your relationships improve, your career flourishes, and you have more to give to others. You'll discover a sense of peace and confidence that comes from knowing you're in control of your financial destiny. So take that first step, look in the mirror, and see the wealthy, successful person you truly are. Affirm your worth and your ability to create abundance. Act as if you're already financially free. And then watch as the world begins to reflect that image back to you. Your journey to financial freedom starts now. Embrace the mirror principle, believe in yourself, and let it guide you to the abundant life you deserve. Remember, if I could do it, so can you. Here's to your wealth, your success, and your incredible future.